Okay, the Daily Nation. A broken system. I think this is a statement that Nick says every time here. Broken system. The system is broken. A broken system. That's the headline on the Daily Nation. Kenyans in the grip of a corrupt machinery. Delayed national identity cards, dehumanized treatment in hospitals, pensioners dying in penury, and kickbacks to even move a pen. A 7-month nation investigation that revealed the rot in the people-facing sectors of public service, the humiliation within which Kenyans are treated every day, the putrid fumes of graft that waft into the highest ceilings of public offices, and the deliberate creation of chaos by criminal enterprises that have been allowed to milk, pilfer, and dehumanize desperate Kenyans. Damn, that's quite an introduction to an investigation there that the Nation says it has done. That's the Daily Nation. We'll get into it in a bit. The Business Daily, UK deports Triton scam fugitive to Kenya, ending a 16-year run. The United Kingdom has deported a scam fugitive to Kenya, ending his 16-year run. Devani, who is Yagnesh Mohanlal Devani, the owner of Triton Petroleum Company Limited, has been deported to Kenya and charged and freed on a 1 million Kenyan shillings bail. He's been on the run since 2008. So are these the people that President William Ruto says we should be getting back from sending abroad? So we're getting back fugitives who've been running scams in the UK. We'll get into that. The Standard, which is with Nick, I think I'll allow him to say what the headline has.
The Standard, experts. Eurobond debt to make or break economy. A report released yesterday says how the country will navigate the foreign debt payment. Determine development expenditure will define, among other things, the cost of living, as the IMF says its measures are likely to cause unrest.
Kenya was saying it will start repaying. The Kenya Kwanza government, let me just be very accurate in my statements today. The Kenya Kwanza government said it will start repaying the Eurobond by December of 2023. We are yet to repay Eurobond as of January 2024, which means we are very closely staring into debt default. What that means for you is something that you want to wait on when we get to that headline. Okay. But welcome, gentlemen. Good morning to both of you. Nick, you are not a fresh face here, but we have one who is a fresh face for us here, organizing secretary.
Yes, I have to say good morning to my people.
Yes, definitely.
In Roysambu. You know, they keep sending me here every day, and very particularly my good friend Mary Nganga Wairimo. We were having a conversation yesterday about one word called Zimmerman. I want to tell the people of Zimmerman, that's the pace. Yes,
that's the pace.
Good morning to people of Roysambu. Good morning to Mkusa and everyone. Good morning to you, Richard. Good Director morning. Ryan. Good morning. So right. It's good to be here over and over again. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you for coming through. Mr. John Muturi.
So good morning, everyone. It's a great privilege to be here on KUTV. I greet all the comrades from the Republic of Kenya. Thank you.
And to be specific, the comrades at Mama Ngina University College.
Yeah.
Yes. How are things over there?
Things are quite well.
That's the college of the mother of
Kenyatta University.
Where my party leader resides.
President.
We have to be very careful because that's where we come.
It's a founding mother.
Yes. You know, when President Uhuru was going at home, Kenya government said they're going to send my party leader to Ishaweri. He's apparently suffering in Ishaweri.
Is he suffering though? The latest photos from President Uhuru Kenyatta is him having golf.
I want to confirm. There are rumors that my president is doing well.
You want to confirm the rumors that your president is doing well?
Yes, my president.
There were rumors, but now?
Yes, I want to confirm.
Is he in Ichaweri or in Windsor Golf Club?
I believe the social media can say where he is.
Okay.
He's been to Congo. And
he's actually working, yeah?
Yes, you see, I don't want to speculate, but Mr. Ruto went to unofficially in DRC
He's ahead of steps. What do you mean unofficially, Nick?
It reminds me those days in high school where you go for a funky without getting invited. You just pop up at the gate.
Event near rugby, but this tiny boy,
he realized that nobody's going to chase him, so he took himself there.
But it was an interesting image from the podium that swearing in ceremony in DRC, where we saw President William Ruto at the front, and then just a step behind there was former President Uhuru Kenyatta, just saying, tuko nayo hapa.
Yes. Also, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka was there.
Right.
Yes. And, it is. You have to understand how politics play. Why did Kalonzo go there? What are they going to meet to discuss about
over there?
Azimio coalition.
We'll get to know. Mama Ngina University, how is it doing?
Mama Ngina is doing well. Just challenges here and there, but we keep on trying, we keep on moving.
Right. Definitely. Thank you for creating time for us here. We are privileged to have you here to get some insights from your end, ready to agree, disagree, to also speculate and predict what is happening in the future and react to some of the developments so far. So, gentlemen, I'll begin with the headlines. The Daily Nation says, a broken system, that's it. The Business Daily, I think I'll just shelve it aside for a second. It loses this obvious battle because it's focusing on this gentleman, Yagnesh Devani, who's been deported back to Kenya. De facto headline that loses here is the Business Daily. So let's say the Standard and Daily Nation.
The Daily Nation.
The Standard says experts, Eurobond debt to make or break economy.
And we also see the TSC and the Ministry of Education.
If you had to look at the two headlines, I'll begin with Mr. John there. The Daily Nation, the Standard. Which one do you think paints the correct and accurate picture of this morning today in Kenya?
I think for me, I would choose Eurobond debt to make or break Kenya.
Okay.
The debt has been there since 2014 for the phase 1 of the Eurobond, and yet it's yet to be paid, and it's due by June. It's supposed to be paid. So I think I'll choose for the Standard.
Okay.
Well, I'm a man of who keeps saying this system is broken. Someone needs to fix it. And luckily here we are young men and very ambitious, and we need to tell the government the truth. Specifically, one Mr. Ruto, that there's so many things that are not going well in this government. He needs to come out of his high horses. 2 years, 1.5 years down the line, he's back on the roof of the vehicles. So one wants to wonder, when does he have time to work? And we see the government, the citizens of Kenya, who spent almost 40 years working for the government, being denied pension. They have to wait for a period of 1-2 years after retirement. This is the money that, according to the constitution, they legally are required to have. We see the NHIF having a problem. We still see the education system, the new funding model. So many students are allegedly. We talked about here, Richard, the other day. I told you that speculations according to somebody who did some statistics, that up to 300,000 of the population of who sat for KCSE in 2022, right, have not reported to university, colleges or tertiary institution.
1 year down the line.
Where are they going to go? Right? We're going to have increased robbery violence. You see, right, recently you've seen people dying in my constituency, right? We've seen, unfortunately, I will not want to justify what men are doing about butchering of women, but if you go a little further to look at what the problem is, it's unemployment, lack of money. People are trying to sustain themselves. Young people are trying.
It's a very stressful situation.
So it's a very stressful. We are back at a very tough economy. The prices of food are still high. So I agree. I want to say, Daily Nation, this time you did well.
They got it right.
They got it right.
And it's a few words, so I think I'll go with you as well, Nick. A broken system, because it actually summarizes the headline of the Standard, which says Eurobond debt make or break the economy.
Yes.
And then the Daily Nation answers
Yes.
by saying a broken system.
Broken system.
So kudos to the Daily Nation.
Yes.
Kenyans are in the grip of a corrupt machinery. When you speak about a corrupt machinery, John,
Yeah.
what do you think? Who's running this machine? What machinery are we talking about? Who's a corrupt machinery? Is it Kenyans? Are we the corrupt machinery that's fueling the kind of situation that the Daily Nation has been reporting here? Where is the problem, and what machinery are we speaking of?
The machinery I would suggest it's the Kenya Kwanza government. The Kenya Kwanza government has not delivered what it promised to the Kenyans. Like for the Huduma centers, Kenyans are being asked even a bribe of 15,000 to receive a passport or any other service at the Huduma center. A normal mwananchi cannot afford to give out 15,000 to receive a service that should be delivered to Kenyans for free. On matters on health, I saw someone about health sector. There are no enough medics, nurses, doctors. Thereby, you find that the hospitals are overcrowded. Therefore, the service delivered to the Kenyans is not of quality. The required quality is not given to the Kenyans.
This is a well-oiled machinery of graft and incompetence, Nick.
Yes, I want to agree with the editor. Well,
well-oiled. When they say well-oiled,
oil is you're oiling the
oil is expensive. Man.
you're oiling the palms. You know, that's what they're trying to say.
The moving parts.
And well, we've seen various ministries, including Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Investments, where Moses Kuria recently was removed. Right? We saw the saga about edible oils. Nobody's talking about that. Right? We saw the 10 billion that was allegedly, let me say, kept for the floods. Nobody's talking about where that money went.
Yeah.
Right? We are here sitting down in our education system. Right? President Ruto recently said he released 200 billion. I'm just wondering, what is he talking about? 200 billion. Students are still struggling to go to universities, right? The CDF money is not even enough. In my constituency recently, my people are complaining that at this level, they are receiving bursaries of 500 shillings. Richard, 500 shillings. What are you going to do with 500 shillings in this new education system?
It's disservice.
Yes.
Right.
So it is true. There's high level of corruption that we need to work on. I was just saddened the other day that it's just, I think it's there, that where we are going next, that we are going to be renewing our IDs. So that is something that we really need to think
An expiry
about.
date on identification cards.
Where are we going as a country?
Right. That's public disservice, as the Daily Nation is saying, and in a first series of investigation stories, Nation is going to be publishing every Tuesday, starting today, on the experiences of ordinary Kenyans in trying to seek for government services. Maybe a hilarious commentary from you guys on what the government services have been like for you. But here, from page 4 to page... from page 4 all the way to page 7 of the Daily Nation, we're getting a few accounts so far that the Daily Nation has been able to publish. One here, there's a system where, you know, Kenyans who are going to government offices, trying to get passports, trying to get ID cards replaced, are treated to a very crazy situation where they either have to bribe their way in or have to humble themselves. Unaambiwa umeleta photocopy ya birth certificate, toka hapa, enda like, bro, what's going on? Please guide me correctly. KNH, where death lurks in the corridors. This is a very sad situation. And they published a situation where some of the wards, patients can stay 2 to 3 days.
No medication.
No medic, no nurses showing up. No help whatsoever. And we have a situation where graduates from medical schools are yet to be posted. So it's not for a lack of it's not for a lack of professionals. It's for a lack of trying. This clearly points to a well-oiled machine. When you go to page 6 and page 7, we see here pensioners who are also crying. They've made numerous trips to get their money, to get something from the government. Wanaambiwa huyo mtu hayuko saizi kwa ofisi.
And you know, something funny, Richard. If you're a government employee, you are first deducted one thing that is called NSSF, that is National Security Social Fund. It's supposed to keep you secured immediately after you retire.
Yeah.
So it's usually given in a lump sum money. So I want to imagine the kind of frustration, Richard. I'm out of a job, right? I need to eat. I need to pay my bills. You're telling me there's no money. And you see how the system has been made that immediately I resign, immediately not I resign, immediately I retire, rather, the next day, money is supposed to be in my account without any form of contention. But we are having a government whereby 2 years, Richard, someone who retired in 2024, 2022, is still struggling to pay their bills because there's no pension in their bank account and there's no NSSF fund. So, and allegedly, as they're saying, and they're asking, where is this money? Because we have seen recently, Richard, that the good place, the house on the hill, being renovated.
Yes.
1 billion shillings.
They're repairing a few cracks here and there.
Yes, 1 billion shillings, Richard. How? I just sit down and imagine how humane this government can be.
They're saying that for people who are looking for pension, sometimes you're told, ayuko kwa ofisi.
Yes.
For example, efforts here by the Nation where they tried to get a comment from NSSF officials and the National Treasury Pensions Department. And the official in the communications office said he was out on a retreat and would only respond once back in office. John, I want you to pick up this other part where in Nyayo House, again, there seems to be two levels of people. If you've not applied for a passport or tried to renew a passport in this republic, then this is a pain you should be looking forward to because it's going to hit sometime soon. Personally speaking, I renewed or I applied for renewal of my passport May 14th, 2023. May 14, 2023. Says it to January 30th, 2024. On my status bar in the e-citizen.
Still saying pending.
Loading. It's not yet. Oh my goodness. It's pending. It's loading. They have not. They're yet to look at it.
They're telling you.
I'm almost a year old into the renewal. If I had an opportunity so far, which a few of them have, if I get an opportunity and would like to pursue it, of course I'll have to hold back. If I get an opportunity, including the 200,000 jobs that the president has been parroting are available for the youth abroad, that is able to avail. I can't get that. My passport isn't out yet.
Yes.
But it seems when you get to Nyayo House, there are two levels. If you have money, you stream past the the long queues. But if you don't have it, my friend, it's going to be a long time for you before you get these services. So here's a question, John. They're saying it's a well-oiled machinery, and we know as students of engineering, machines are supposed to be well-oiled for efficiency. Who is benefiting from the efficiency of this well-oiled machinery?
And who's doing the oiling?
And who's doing the oiling? And who's paying for the oil?
Exactly.
The one paying for the oil is the normal Kenyan community. Because you are the one who will just dig up in your pockets to give out those bribes to receive the service. So the Kenya Kwanza government has failed to deliver to the citizens of Kenya. If a normal passport can take up to 1 year to be just processed, and yet the government is telling Kenyans just apply for jobs abroad. You see that one is contradicting yourself. You are promising Kenyans jobs outside Kenya, but you are not yet giving them the passports and the visas on time. And yet you want to just tell them that you want to bring up the economy by taking Kenyans abroad, by giving them jobs. You see that one is total failure by the Kenya Kwanza government.
And they're the ones benefiting from this machinery?
Yeah, they're the ones benefiting.
What should we do, Nick, at this point? Who should stop oiling the machine?
Well, the Constitution has empowered a government agency called EACC. Someone is sleeping on his job. I want to call out Bishop Oginde, the chairman of AACC. A lot of government agencies need to be investigated, especially at the Nyayo House where passports are given and where IDs are given. We need to call out and tell Bishop Oginde, it is time you wake up. It is time a job needs to be done. Someone needs to be called. Someone needs to be accounted for. Because we saw my good friend Professor Kindiki, he did a lot of charade, a lot of games here and there.
He labeled the place a crime scene.
He was all over saying that we're going to have passports in the next 2 months. Richard, you are now waiting 6 months later. You have not received your passport. Probably you need to go and travel to continue journalism. Maybe CNN has called you somewhere. How are you supposed to go there, and they're frustrating?
Next month.
Imagine. So
that's crazy.
That is one. Two, I think it is time, Richard, that Kenyans will say enough is enough, because I'm not telling Kenyans to take the law at their hands, but I'm trying to tell Kenyans that we cannot be subjected to a form of oppression called corruption and we sit down. Right? I'm calling upon the legal system, that's the judiciary. We need to do something about it. I'm calling upon the parliament. Are we supposed to be making better policies in parliament so that our people don't go through this hell? That I'm just imagining that. Is it scripted that by the time we have Form 4 leavers or who recently finished Form 4, they don't have IDs? Are we going to keep them on the loop so that we come 2027, we don't have registered voters? Because you cannot register with an ID or a passport, right? So I want to question what this illegitimate, let me say, I want to call it this morning, illegitimate government, because they are oppressing us. And recently we've seen Chief Justice Martha Koome doing a meeting with the executive, right? And to me, I was not in any support of it, because I told you here, Richard, when the Azimio coalition went to Supreme Court for the presidential petition, he did not call the principal on the sidebar to tell them, hey, look, you can also still have this seat. He didn't do that. So to us, it paints a bad picture.
Right.
And then one of the most important things, because I told you here, when the judiciary, when you attack the judiciary, you are attacking the hope of the nation. Because it is only the judiciary that can save.
Our last line of defense.
Can save us from tyrannical government and leaders.
Okay.
Yes.
We've seen last week, of course, that conversation happening between President William Ruto, where it was preceded, of course, by weeks of his onslaught criticism against the judiciary. But when you look at these issues which are painted here, most of them are within the executive. Isn't it ironical that the executive is the one that's pointing the fingers to the judiciary?
But you see, Richard, I'm totally in agreement with you. But the executive has a mandate to implement what the parliament has passed, the policies. It has no mandate to jail corrupt officials. It has no mandate.
The work of the judiciary.
It's the work of the judiciary.
To get into this.
Right? It's the work of the EACC and the DCI to arraign these people to court.
Okay.
That's why we are saying someone is sleeping on his job.
So on that, the judiciary should be independent from the other arms of the government. The judiciary is the only hope that has been left for the Kenyans, because the legislature, which is led by the Kenya Kwanza, they pass laws based on what the executive orders them to do, which, like for the Financial Act of 2023, many Kenyans disagreed on it, but the parliament just approved it.
All right.
Yeah.
We've seen the president also last week saying that he will disregard whatever the courts have to say, ataendelea na affordable housing, collection of housing. The funny thing is that the courts have not stopped the president from doing any low-cost affordable housing. They've only stopped him from collection of the housing levy, which is unconstitutional, or has been found to be unconstitutional. So if he wants to build houses, hundreds of thousands, he can do that, but not on our money.
Because I will tell you, this housing project was still continuing when President Uhuru Kenyatta was in power. And what we are not agreeing on is excessive overtaxing of our people. Richard, you cannot milk the cow to a point that it is dying. He's over milking us because these are the houses that we're being told that we are paying a housing levy. At the same time, it's the same administration that wants to sell us this house.
Yeah.
So where is the logic?
You're building a house and then you sold it back to you.
Where's the logic? You see, that's what we're talking about. That's what the court is saying. That whatever they are doing is totally unprocedural and unconstitutional. That it is very much possible. You've seen here, my good friend Amos Mwago will tell you here in Stare, around if you see Pangani, there are new developed houses. Those houses were built with the same structure of housing, whatever. But we've seen that no amount of money was excessively charged by citizens of Pangani. Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
It's a broken system, as the Daily Nation is calling it, from the executive, which is something we've talked about here for a long time. The legislature is not even a conversation anymore. That's a politically motivated arm of the government. And when you get to the halls of the judiciary,
Yes.
the president feels like there's no justice that's being delivered. He feels there are a few corrupt officials who are sabotaging government projects and maybe not delivering justice. If indeed this is how it is in every single arm of the government, this is a culture then, right? We are also the same Kenyans who will meet someone in the back route and pay for that service and get our passport itoke. Mina Nick najua mse Nyayo house uweke 215
Unisukume hiyo kitu.
najua mtu NTSA driving license wewe stands najua mtu. So it's a broken system all over. And then what's the point? Where is our hope, John and Nick? Where is our hope at this point? You said it's time that Kenyans said enough is enough. But in what ways can we say that so that indeed there's a solution that affects across all these broken parts of the system?
Oh, for me, I think the parliament is the only hope. But now the parliament is led by the Kenya Kwanza government, which makes it difficult for the normal mwananchi to have his hope. So the only hope left is to wait until 2027, tungoje next time kwa ballot, tuwapeleke nyumbani.
Will we be wiser? Do you feel we'll be wiser by 2027?
Kenyans have suffered enough. They have seen their decisions, what the people, the personnel they chose, they elected in the 2022 elections. I hope hawatatuangusha in the 2027 coming elections.
Well,
tumeteseka ya kutosha Nick.
My idea is Kenyans quickly gather, call for referendum, come up with a new constitution, send these guys home. It's very much possible. The power lies in the people.
The power lies in the people. Article 1 of the Constitution, sovereignty. But when we're speaking sovereignty, and while let me just add on it as we are talking about a broken system, is there really sovereignty in this republic, given that, recently we've seen who... when I was starting the show, I had a very interesting theme that I was leading it with, which is tunes, tones, and turns. Yeah. So change of tunes, change of tones, and twists and turns here and there. We see who President William Ruto, the kind of music he dances to, who plays the music. We see when the IMF ikikohoa hapa, tuna react pale. World Bank wakikohoa hapa, tuna react pale. Sovereignty, is that something that we can talk about anymore at this point?
Well, Richard, Kenyans are becoming wiser because this is a man who says that he's not going to take loans from
anyone else out there.
He's only going to rely on taxes. But clearly, we have seen that today the standard is saying we have a 2 billion euro bond debt. Where did we get that 2 billion euro bond?
From those international corporations.
He's going to China. Today he's in Italy, right? Yep. He's doing a meeting secretly with the Prime Minister.
I actually had the figures on the amount of money they've agreed.
Yes.
Go on as I get it. Go on as
He's doing a meeting with the Prime Minister of Italy, Meloni. He's doing a meeting there, asking for more money. Right?
Yeah.
He told Kenyans that he will not rely on loans, but he's digging us very deep into these loans. And I will tell you, I was reading yesterday's Larry Madowo's tweet. Ruto said that he will not rely. He's a Pan-Africanist. We are here to discuss the other day here.
Exactly how much of a Pan-Africanist he is.
He is. And you see, ironical, we saw recently a picture that he's the only East African president who was in that meeting.
Yes.
His colleagues,
the president of DRC.
Yes, his colleagues.
Chairman of the AU.
His colleagues
snapped the meeting.
Yes. They know whatever they are doing. And I will tell you, because purportedly, Kenyans are not blind. And that's why I said it is only us
who will save ourselves.
Okay. Because if we wait for this false prophet, because he told us so many things that in the name of the Lord, that he's going to save Kenyans from poverty, he's going to work on the economy. My good friend Kinuda likes to say, this is just a guesswork. Yes.
He's guessing as he goes on.
He likes to call him Mr. Guessworker.
Checky. 2027 is a long time away though. So what do I do between now and 2027? Do I still nafaa kuvumilia tu? John, between now and 2027, how do I survive this? The conversation we were having earlier actually with the guest here, it was how do the youth survive these tough economic times? Right now, to be very honest, even with the discourse that is happening on the internet, when people speak about let's impeach the president, but then who's the deputy president, right? That's a very concerning outlook. Between now and 2027, before I cast my next vote and make different decisions, how am I supposed to survive, gentlemen? John?
The Constitution states that the people and the sovereign have the right to recall our president, to recall any member of the legislature. I believe that we can recall the whole government. We do a referendum or maandamano, like peaceful demonstrations. We recall the government because it's a tough economic time. We have the fuel levy, the house levy. Everywhere kuna tax.
Na zinakuja zingine.
Yeah.
IMF wants a few more so that we patch up some of that debt that we have this year.
Yeah, but I think for the IMF, we are in a real state of state capture. The government collects the revenue from the Kenyans, but instead of doing developing infrastructure, they pay back the loans they borrowed 10 years back the line, 10 years down the line. So I think we should try as much as possible come out of this nature of being in a state capture.
All right. State capture, which means we can try and recall some of the MPs we feel are affiliated to that sort of state capture. There, you have the power within the Constitution, and it's in Article 1, as we've been continuously informing you. So President William Ruto, as Nick said there, is attending, and I got the figures. I got the figures here just real quick. How did I lose them once more? So he's in Italy for that Italy-Africa summit, and he's had a change of tone with what they agreed with our African countries. I was with you here when we discussed the troubles we have with our neighbors, and then the week after I was with Dennis Omondi. I also discussed what issues we have with the EAC.
They have now started releasing songs back there in Tanzania about us Kenyans.
I saw that, yeah. This beef is getting worse. So he was in this meeting with DRC president, so maybe ile siku alienda Congo. And I asked what kind of conversation they had after their beef. So maybe alimwambia the only way nitakusamehea tunaenda Italy pamoja. Unaruka hao majama wengine. So they agreed that African nations will send representatives and that country moja cannot be calling out African heads of state for a meeting, a single state meeting, where we saw a situation like when there was the burial of the former Queen of England. They were bundled into a bus like school kids. Wali beba utoto, literally and otherwise. And President William Ruto said haiwezekani. This time, his change of tune and tone is saying that this is a more practical nation, that Italy is more practical. But mimi naangalia practicality from the amount of money that he's been able to discuss there with Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. So they have the so-called Mattei plan, which is positioning Italy as a vital link between Africa and other European nations. And the amount of money that will fund this Mattei plan, let me get quick guesses. How much money do you think that would be?
That guy is going for not less than 1 billion.
Not less than 1 billion. John?
10 billion.
10 billion. So it's $5.9 billion US dollars.
Not less than 1 billion. I know the guy.
$5.9 million, some of which will be
and
in the
he
form
will
of
still
loans.
say he found empty coffers. So I'm wondering where is all this money going?
Right. It's going to the well-oiled state machinery, as you've seen there in the Daily Nation. That's causing public disservice. And personally, I have been affected, and I know so many Kenyans will be interviewed. So you can follow through what the Daily Nation will be publishing every Tuesday. Kenyans in the grip of corrupt machinery. It's going to go through all government services, interviewing Kenyans, and trying to get statements from government officials on why delivery of services is really difficult in the Republic.
What is really happening at the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Richard?
Talk to me.
We are seeing a rivalry between Ezekiel Machogu and Nancy Mashari. And teachers are being told by the Ministry of Education one direction. Nancy comes and overrules that direction.
Nancy is
the CEO of
TSC,
Teachers Service Commission.
Okay.
And I told you here before, Richard, one, Dr. Ezekiel Machogu is a very incompetent CS of education. We are really, really, really suffering. Now, the problem has gone to the teachers. He's done with the students. He's dismantled the student structure. He's now going
for the teachers.
I want you to imagine the chaos that he's creating. This is a ministry that was well kept under the leadership of one Matiang'i and one, the late Professor, what was his name? Magoha. Professor George Magoha. That education was at a point whereby we were trusting the ministry. And I'm coming to foresee that the next phase is going is lecturers. It's going to disarrange and arrange so many things.
They already started with a new funding model, and I'm sure that affects employment opportunities for lecturers within campuses and other key employees who are in higher institutions of learning. While we are at education, Nick, I have another statistic that should raise more concern for you, which is more than 130,000 candidates who sat KCP in 2023 are yet to report to school, even after the government promised 100% transition.
Yeah, you can imagine.
Secondary schools. And they also scrapped the AFIA scheme.
We people, especially me and John here, we are representing a large portion of students coming from Mount Kenya. And we are worried day in, day night. We were having a conversation at the lobby. He was telling me that Mama Ngina University, his students are saying that they don't have fees. They are struggling even to maintain themselves. The cost of living is very high. Now we are at a place whereby we cannot admit or secure positions or opportunities for our people or students in the mountain. It saddens me the most. I don't know. What do you think, John?
I think the government should have an agreement with the Teacher Service Commission in terms of the Presidential Working Committee, which meant that the TSA would be stripped most of its powers in terms of promotion of teachers, payments, increments, which now brings up the rivalry between the government and the Teacher Service Commission. I think they should come to a memorandum. They agree on the terms in which they want to work together, because at the end of the day, it's us, the students, that will be suffering in the four corners of the classes.
All right.
Yeah, someone needs to bring sobriety in that ministry. I will not fear, without fear any of contradiction. I am still calling for the resignation of one Dr. Ezekiel Machogu, because he is messing our education system. Richard, can you imagine that right now we have a new education structure, CBC, which nobody knows how to implement it. Nobody knows whatever he's doing. Their schools don't have enough teachers. They don't have enough facilities. Students are swimming in the sand in the name of practicality. Someone needs to call out.
We do not have resources to implement the recommendations that are there within the new education system.
Then why go for the new education system?
I've seen even complaints from university students where now, there's a CBC class in campus now. I'm sure John is very aware of that. So some of the students are mixed up. So we have 844 students and we have CBC students in the same class. The grading system for CBC students is different. And from those who are in 844 is different. So you have a class of people in Kenyatta University, for example, who are taking a class in calculus. Half of them CBC students, half of them are 844 students, and the grading structure doesn't match.
Yes.
These ones are supposed to be graded out of 70, this one's out of 80. The lecturer doesn't understand which one is the one supposed to work.
I want you to imagine what the employer now thinks about the confusion.
Right.
The breeding.
So we're churning out more confused.
Yes, we are churning out chaos. This is a recipe of chaos that this guy is doing. His main work is to bring us solution. That's why we gave him the mandate of becoming our CS. It is the people that gave him this mandate.
And you're asking for his resignation.
Yes.
That you have never relented.
Yeah.
John, do you think, as a leader of students' organization body, what can be done on the higher end of the structure to fix some of these issues, or if not all?
I think I will support my friend Nick here. The government is confused, because even I saw in today's newspaper, teachers who graduated before 2023 are being forced to undertake a mandatory 1-year training program. You cannot just wake up and make decisions and decide this is the way forward, and yet there is no public participation. So I think the government should have a public participation to involve all the stakeholders in the education sector, so that the conflicts does not arise again in the course of the year.
But public participation in this republic has turned to mean so little. If we are taking your comments from the Public Participation in Finance Act of 2023, 78+% of Kenyans said, "Atutaki your bill," and then the government didn't listen. So more needs to be done to put into account on public participation. And currently, Parliament is also taking up public opinions on affordable housing.
Yes.
Even still, after what happened last week, LSK are saying this is still unconstitutional, and some of these issues still tend to go ahead regardless of what the public has to say.
Yes.
Sovereignty is under threat, man.
Yeah, and if you go to Article 144, that's what I was looking for. Removal of president on grounds of incapacity. Our president has grounds of incapacity. I want to tell Kenyans it's very much possible.
He's lacking capacity.
Yes.
He's lacking capacity. Gentlemen, we only have 5 minutes with us here on the show, so we'll just look at a few more stories and then wrap it up with
what are you thinking about the African Cup of Nations?
African Cup of Nations, the tournament of the underdogs.
The tournament of the underdogs.
So when we started this conversation here on the show, we did have guests to discuss the business of sport. It's been a good show, in terms of presentation, the stadiums, the preparedness of the teams. But it seems the teams that were unlikely, people thought will fail at the very early stages. We are speaking Cape Verde. If we are talking about
Senegal.
Nigeria, who have actually been winning on on a 1-goal streak, a small margin. So it's either 1-0, 1-0 or 2-1. And then if you're speaking Cameroon, who we thought were giants.
Yes. Senegal went home yesterday.
Senegal, oh man.
Unfortunately, we had a long night because of Senegal losing.
You had a long night because of Senegal losing? Or you thought they will be...
I was supporting the Teranga Lions.
You're supporting Sadio One, Sadio Mane.
Actually,
the men in orange proved to be more stronger.
Yes. And everyone who's been on this show to discuss AFCON bet on Senegal. So Emperor Shaker was out there, including Peter Pinches, who was on the spot on KUTV, including Emmanuel from Dimba Desk. Manu is Asana. Kelvin Benson alikuwa hapa akasema he'll put his money, pesa yake yote inheritance on Senegal. My
able chairman Faris Jane was also a Senegalese guy. So
you can see how that's performed.
Unfortunate
Senegal,
for him.
Ivory Coast.
So he has to go either, I was just telling him the other day, he has either to support Nigerians because of their Oga.
or just to watch the tournament outside.
I'm really concerned because the AFCON is going to come to Kenya.
Yeah, 2027.
I don't know how much prepared we are if you have not qualified for AFCON ourselves.
It's been a question I've asked everyone here on the show. Let's. I don't know what John has to say about this. Overall, of course, in terms of preparedness, how do you think Kenya, or what should we do?
I saw the Talanta Hela Stadium supposed to kick off, and the construction phase takes about 36 months, and it's yet about to begin, which brings about a lot of questions. Are we ready for this event?
It's going to be 3 years away from now. I
Of
think the
which
government can
many countries like the Ivory Coast, they were to host the event in 2015, but due to lack of proper infrastructure and preparedness on time, they postponed it to 2023. So I don't want to imagine that scenario that Kenyan government will postpone the event to another year and just give the host rights to Uganda and Tanzania because we haven't completed construction of the 2 stadiums on time.
Who is it up to? Is it FIFA who decides whether to postpone it or the country?
The country decides itself.
If it's not
It's the
ready.
hosting country.
Yeah, the host.
It's not ready.
And you think Uganda and Tanzania are ready? Nick? I don't know much about Uganda. I know Tanzania have a very good...
You're putting me on spot because, you know, despite our problems in Kenya, home is home.
Yeah.
You cannot go and cry foul in a neighboring county. I told you severally that I cannot go to Uganda and start kneeling on Museveni's feet. Neither can I go to Mama Suluhu because she already believes she already has the solutions for Tanzania. So I'd rather deal with Mr. Ruto.
Okay, tell us about Mr. Ruto. In order to give to Ama tutatolewa, and then we watch from the sidelines. We are qualifying on
One thing I want to imagine, Richard, is because if AFCON can come to Kenya, I want to imagine that so many young men and women who play soccer or football are going to have an opportunity.
You didn't just say soccer.
Yeah, see, it depends on where you went to school.
Fix the education system, Mr. Job. Yeah, right.
So, the job opportunities, because you can imagine the opportunities the likes of Mariga, Wanyama created in the EPL. You can imagine how far we can go in that levels of opportunities, in that levels of talent. Because if our education system is failing us, let's try the talent way, Richard. We cannot only rely on running. You've been running for a long time.
Let's play some ball, yeah? Okay, yes. Anything else I might have left there before we look at I want us to react to the cartoons, or how do I call them?
The bull, you see, there's something called pale Kakamega kuna kitu inaitwa the bullfighting.
Bullfighting? Yes,
the bull apparently has not been having a good conversation with the herders. So
one of the caretakers of Boni Halwale actually lost their lives after a bullfighting incident.
So Boni Halwale was asked why is cows killing people. He gave his reason that it's because they're not mating.
Oh wow. Frustrations, yeah?
So I was really...
It's becoming a dangerous sport.
So I was really concerned that he's worried about his cows or his bull is not mating. That's why they are killing people.
Those are the effects of drought.
On a serious note, I sympathize with the men who died on this sport because it's a sport.
Yeah.
But I would really want to... I really want to tell the people of Kakamega, there's no heroism about dying, right? This sport is very dangerous. It's been known to be played in Spanish countries like Mexico, the bullfighting, the Zorro.
Or that's what we should do, make it professional and then monetize it and have policies and regulations and stewards.
To them, it's a matter of culture, and I was listening to the story that if you are killed by... I don't know how true this is. If a bull kills you, you go direct to heaven. So I don't know how true, how true that is, because so many young men will want to try that incident, but it's very sad.
If I was going for the presidency and I was coming from they're calling it the West Coast.
The West Coast.
Yeah, Western Kenya. If I was coming from the West Coast, I would rally my people behind this and say, this is how we create opportunities. Let's monetize this sport, get more men into there, and then supports also agriculture. I mean, more farmers to breed.
But you know,
that's how they do with Wagyu. For those who are aware of Wagyu beef, which comes from some regions of Japan, they feed beer to these bulls their whole lives, and they create very rare meat that is very expensive. So I think we should monetize this. Yeah.
Before we go too far, there's one man called Shadrach Mwadime. probably is my namesake, but we're not related.
Are you related?
No, that's why I said a disclaimer.
Okay.
Kenyans lack skills for foreign job market, reveals Labour PS. We're being asked that to go to abroad. You see, recently we saw President Ruto on top of his vehicle saying, mimi nimewatafutia kazi.
Tena niwafunze kufanya.
So, Richard, we've seen so many graduates, right? What do you mean they lack skills? Why are we going to universities if you are going to lack skills?
Yeah.
So I want to put him on spot.
Okay.
That we cannot say that learned friends like John Muturi, like Richard Okenya, like General Kinuthia are lacking skills. We are telling them in abroad, we cannot take you there because you're lacking skills. And also telling them here in Kenya, we cannot give you jobs because you're lacking skills.
Because you don't have skills. And I have to say one more thing on that is that some of the PhDs and masters that people have acquired abroad have been done by first year, second year students in Kenya.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah, it is very sudden.
It's our part-time job here in campus to do those masters for those in abroad.
Yeah. You get a kid in KM and they know all the ins and outs of an economics PhD. Certification. So it's important that they look at that. Time is not our side, gentlemen.
Yes.
There's so much that we can speak about here. I wanted us to look at what do the Standard have? What do the Standard have in terms of the editorial cartoon? Editorial cartoon on the Daily Nation, though. I don't know if you can put it up on the screen.
Just on Machogu's case.
Okay.
There's no cause for alarm.
And Machogu is facing a
blackboard, written education, and then scribble bursaries. And they're saying there are no causes of alarm. So
we've seen what has happened with bursaries as well. Many students are yet to receive it. What do you interpret with the editorial cartoon, John?
Okay, on this scenario, Mashogu thinks that the comrades are not suffering. The help has been delayed. Comrades are yet to eat anything this January. Wanainama tu asubuhi, jioni na mchana. So I think they should disperse the help and also disburse the bursaries on time. Yeah.
Yes, we see there a mother with his son and with shackles of cost of living.
Yeah, chained to the cost of living.
Chained to the cost of living.
Hey, man.
So it's a tough balance. Will I take my child to school?
Or do I feed them?
Do I feed them?
Crazy. Someone else here trying to feed, I don't know who they're trying to feed. They're trying to feed the roads, but we said it's a well-oiled machinery, so who's benefiting from it is up to question. It's an editorial cartoon on the Daily Nation that shows a caricature of CS Fort Road and Transport, Kipchumba Murkomen, and he has there something looks like a Kenyan, and they're squeezing the coins out of him. Can you see that on there, Nick, on page 17 of the Daily Nation?
17.
Squeeze wana vile miwa utengeneza huko kwa place ya juice.
Yes.
Squeeze all the coins out of him, and we're seeing there, of course, he said he might as well.
He recently said that there are new tolls that need to be taxed. There's one in Malaba. There's one in on your way to Garissa. There are toll areas that you see when you go to a new county. Richard, I will tell you this: you have to pay. It's like a county levy for your information. If a car is coming transporting goods from Kiambu to Nairobi, there's usually a toll here in. Is it Thika?
Yeah.
Right. Past Thika.
Yes.
You have to pay.
You have to pay.
So that money goes to the county government. Now they are saying, apart from that, you also have to pay toll to the national government.
For the major highways. Is he tone deaf or is he arrogant?
Arrogance? Yes.
That is quite a unison agreement.
Arrogance.
And I think we can close it up on there. Please do check out those editorial cartoons.
Yeah.
And before the gentlemen give out their last remarks, this time I want...
John is a newcomer. Let him read the quote today.
Nice. John, here kufikia hapo business daily at the back is where we usually do our last remarks. So I'll let you do the last one because you're our fresh face here. Nick.
Yes.
What do you have to say about today, and then you wrap it up?
Probably, let me give a huge shout out to so many women who came out to fight for their rights on Monday. It's very critical.
Saturday?
Yes, on Saturday. And I also want to encourage them that let's not just focus on just men killing women. We also realize there's so many women killing men. So it's not just a one diversion point. And then because the conversation about killing is not just a gender issue, it's just wrong. It's just wrong at all. I'm not in support of any violent men. I'm not in support of any gender violence-based people. But I would want to agree with them. And also encourage them that if half of our population come out to fight the high tax of increases of taxes, high cost of living, we will not put ourselves in a situation whereby we have to ask for money to survive.
All right.
So finally, to thank, one is to acknowledge my good friend, the incoming president of Technical University of Kenya, one General Kinuthia Ndongo. And I want to tell the people of Nairobi and the people of TUK, this is a man to watch.
Okay.
A man to watch, because the opponents are already fearing, and they're already in his inbox
Asking for mercy.
asking for mercy. To thank the people of Mkusa for always sending me here to represent them as their national executive director. Of course, to pay patronage to my national chairman and also my national treasurer, and that is Faris Jane and Eston Maina.
Okay.
And to thank all, of course, I cannot forget the people of Roysambu, who continuously send me here each and every morning to have a conversation with one Richard Okenye. Thank you, KUTV. Thank you, Director Ryan.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. John,
Yeah.
thank you for the time that you've created for us here. Your last remark on the happenings, maybe, and then you can read us the quote about the back of the business day.
So my urge is to the government to disburse the help and bursaries on time, and the corruption quagmires that have been recently notified in the bursaries disbursement. The government should find a solution to sort them, because at the end of the day, it's us, the comrades, who will be suffering.
Please go on. Yes.
So today's last word is from Raina Maria Reich, an Australian poet and novelist. Be happy about your growth, in which of course you can take anyone with you, and be gentle with those behind you.
Let's get it again.
Be happy about your growth, in what course you can't take anyone with you, and be gentle with those who stay behind you.
Be gentle with those who stay behind you. Thank you very much, John Muturi, Organizing Secretary at Mama Ngina University College, and Nick Mwadime Mwangi, Mkusa National Executive Director, political commentator for us here, and also Chairman of the Jubilee Party
Nairobi chapter.
Youth League.
Youth League.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
This has been Biashara Tuesday. Exciting to have you